Plaintiff Tony Phillips dated the defendant, and she says he was emotionally and physically abusive. Tony claims the defendant once slapped her after she confronted him about flirting with another woman. And most recently, he punched her multiple times in her face. She's suing him today for emotional distress. Defendant Emmanuel Sanchez insists Tony is the violent one, who is constantly instigating fights, and the only time he ever put his hands on her was to restrain her in self-defense. Emmanuel is countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Well, we started dating in April. We dated for almost a year. Through the whole relationship, he was abusive to me.
How so?
Like, for example, one time we were on the train and he was looking at another girl. And then I'm like, okay, you can have her. Like, you know, just go on about your business. Like, you can have her. So the girl heard me say that to him, and then she started arguing back with me. He grabbed me off the train. We went to the house. And then I was like, I'm leaving. And when I was leaving out the house, he grabbed me back. He smacked me in my face. And then I left. I tried to call the cops on him, but he ran. And then it's just more emotional stress because he's still trying to be in my life.
When was that? When did that occur, the one you just described?
That happened after the 3rd month of us dating in June.
All right, then what?
I called the cops on him and he left out the house, and then I left from his house because I wasn't staying with him.
What's the next incident?
He verbally assaulted me. He punched me and he was punching me in my face and kicking me on the floor.
When was that?
That was a month ago.
What happened as a result? Did you go to the police or they come? Or?
I did go to the cops, but then he was gone and I didn't want to get him in trouble, so.
Okay. Was there a third time?
Yeah, it was off and on, just emotional abuse.
Anything you want to tell me in particular, an incident?
No, just the last time was the worst time when he was punching me in my face. And
you didn't want to prosecute him. All right, let's hear from you.
Your Honor, I've never touched that lady. I've never put my hands on her. We do get into arguments. She's the one who causes the fighting.
What type of fighting?
Well, I have a brand, the clothing line, and every time I did business with any female, she would go off. So I used to get home, she'll get the hit in me. All I do is grab her and try not to get into it.
Restrain her?
Yes, restrain her. Now, I don't know where she's coming from with all this that I've hit on the train. I've never touched that. I've never touched her.
And
if I did beat her, I would have been in jail. She says she called the cops. Why would the cops drop the case?
She said she didn't want to prosecute you.
Well, I mean, if she would have took the case.
Who has the police report for when the police came?
I don't have the police report.
Okay.
Because he left and then they asked me if I wanted to press charges and I said no.
All right, if he'd been there, they'd have arrested him and then held you for 72 hours or up to 72 hours for a cooling off period. And then you can drop it if you want, but he certainly would have been held regardless of whether you wanted to press charges or not, had he been there. But if it played out like you said, then I understand why you don't have a report.
I have pictures.
Oh, you have pictures?
Yeah.
Good, let's see that. So I hope she's not going to show me some pictures of her face being bruised and you tell me she fell.
Well, you can't really see it, but this is how it was before. It bruised after the next day. That was the first day.
Do you ever see any of these bruises?
No, sir.
And this is a black eye?
Yeah, that was when it first started, and then the next day it bruised.
All right, and you didn't do what you say?
No, sir.
All right. And your counterclaim is for what?
My counterclaim?
Yes, sir.
$3,000.
I know. What did she do?
I'm sorry.
What did she do to make you think you deserve $3,000?
Well, she was living in my house.
Mm-hmm.
She was living with me for almost a year, and she decided to want to move out. Mm-hmm. Correct. And
why?
Because she felt like she was being abused, supposedly. I've never touched her.
Think she was imagining it?
For all I know, them bruises came from her next boyfriend.
I'm saying her moving out because you were abusing her. Do you think she was creating that in her mind, since you say it never happened?
I've never touched her.
I know. Just speculate on why do you think she's saying that then? Why do you think a person would leave, suddenly move out, and say that you were abusing them when that absolutely wasn't the case.
Well,
all you're saying is no, no, no. You can't even speculate why your woman would move. Have you asked her since? You know I wasn't abusing you. Why did you move? Did you try
sir,
that?
I was the one who really put her out. I put her out the house.
Okay.
It got to the point
Didn't
where
you tell me a minute ago she moved?
it got to the point where we was fighting all the time, and I decided.
Sir, I caught you in the lie. I don't need to hear anymore. Judgment for the plaintiff. Yours is dismissed. Have a good day.
We're broken up. We're not dating anymore.
We're broken up, not dating. We're okay though. We're fine.